28 Weeks Later is a 2007 British-Spanish post-apocalyptic science fiction horror film, structured as a sequel to the 2002 critical and commercial success, 28 Days Later. 28 Weeks Later was co-written and directed by Juan Carlos Fresnadillo, with Danny Boyle and Alex Garland, respectively director and writer of 28 Days Later, now acting as executive producers. It was released in the United Kingdom and United States on May 11, 2007. The on-location filming took place in London and Three Mills Studios, although scenes intended to be shot at Wembley Stadium, then undergoing final stages of construction, were filmed instead in Wales, with Cardiff's Millennium Stadium used as a replacement. Plot: during the original outbreak of the Rage virus, Don, his wife Alice and 4 other survivors are hiding in a barricaded cottage on the outskirts of London. They hear a terrified boy pounding at their door, whom they let in. A few minutes later they find that the infected have followed the boy to them. The infected attack and kill most of the survivors, while Don, Alice and the boy are chased upstairs. Don is separated from Alice and the boy by the infected and jumps out of a window, abandoning them. Don, closely pursued, desperately sprints to a nearby motorboat and narrowly escapes. After 5 weeks, all the infected have died of starvation. After 11 weeks, NATO forces headed by the United States take control of Great Britain. After 18 weeks the island is declared relatively safe, although still under quarantine. 28 weeks after the outbreak, an American-led force, under the command of Brigadier General Stone, bring in settlers to repopulate the area. Among the new arrivals are Tammy and Andy, Don and Alice's children, who were in Spain on a school trip during the initial outbreak. They are subsequently admitted to District 1, a safe zone guarded by the U.S. Army, on the Isle of Dogs. As they are examined by Major Scarlett Levy, the district's chief medical officer, she notes Andy's differently colored eyes, a trait inherited from his mother. Sergeant Doyle, a Delta sniper, and his friend, Chief Flynn, a helicopter pilot, are amongst the military presence charged with guarding the district. Tammy and Andy are reunited with their father, who had survived the original infection, was found by the U.S. Army, and has become the district's caretaker. In their new flat, Don explains what happened to him and their mother and that after escaping, he arrived in a military camp and survived by waiting for the infected to die of starvation. That night, Andy has a dream about forgetting his mother's face, so Tammy and Andy decide to visit their home to get a picture of her. The next day they sneak out of the safe zone and proceed on a scooter through the depopulated London wasteland to their former home. To their shock, they find their mother at home, in a semi-conscious state. Doyle had seen Tammy and Andy leave the safe zone. They and their mother are quickly picked up by soldiers and return to the district. Alice is taken to a quarantine room where she is tested and found to be an asymptomatic carrier of the Rage virus. While she does not show the uncontrollable rage, she is extremely infectious and the virus causes her eyes to discolor red. Don sneaks through the security and makes an unauthorized visit to Alice in her isolation cell and asks forgiveness for abandoning her at the cottage. When they kiss, however, the Rage virus in her saliva immediately infects Don, who savagely kills her before going on a rampage, killing and infecting several soldiers in the building. General Stone orders the building to be quarantined and District 1 to be put into Code Red lockdown, and civilians are herded into safe rooms. Despite the precautions, Don breaks into a room containing a large crowd and begins killing and infecting them, quickly causing a domino effect of attackers. Scarlett rescues Tammy and Andy from containment as the soldiers in District 1 are ordered to shoot indiscriminately after being unable to differentiate between infected and uninfected persons during the panic. Doyle, unable to bring himself to comply with the order, abandons his post and escapes with Scarlett, Tammy, Andy and others through the Greenwich Foot Tunnel. General Stone then orders that District 1 be firebombed, but large numbers of the infected, including Don, escape the bombardment. Scarlett informs Doyle that the children might hold the key to a cure and must be protected at all costs. Flynn arrives by helicopter to pick up Doyle, but refuses to take anyone else as they would be shot down if carrying possibly infected people. Flynn contacts Doyle by radio and tells him to head to Wembley Stadium, but to leave the civilians. Doyle ignores his instructions and begins escorting the civilians to Wembley, breaking into an abandoned car to escape nerve gas released to kill the infected. He is burned alive by soldiers as he tries to push start the car. Scarlett drives the car away. An Apache gunship tries to destroy the car with Tammy and Andy, but all three manage to escape the chopper. She drives them into the London Underground where, as the trio continue on foot, she is ambushed and killed by Don, who then attacks and bites Andy. Tammy shoots Don before he can kill Andy, who remains symptom-free, but with his eyes discolored red like those of his mother, signifying that he is now an unknowing carrier of the rage virus. They continue to the stadium and are picked up by a reluctant Flynn, who flies them across the English Channel to France, as previously instructed by Doyle. 28 days later, a French accented voice requesting help is heard from the radio in Flynn's abandoned helicopter. A group of the infected are seen running through a tunnel which, as they emerge into the open, is revealed to be the exit of the Paris Mar Copyright Trotrakada Copyright Rue station with a view of the nearby Eiffel Tower.